Hi everyone, this is Gail Minogue again, your friendly numerologist. I wanted to speak today about the crisis that we're in and the crisis of the 20s. That's 2020 to 2029. So we have several years left. We have 7 years left to get to 2030 before we come out of this strange situation that we're in now. So we are, one of the things that people don't realize that there's two cycles that are converging right now. One is an 80-year cycle and one is a 50-year cycle. And it's unusual they both arrive at the same time, but that's what's happening. So you see tremendous changes culturally, politically, the whole structure is up for grabs. So it feels very uncertain, and that's how most people feel. They're waiting for another shoe to drop. So you have tumultuous times right until the next election, which is 2028, not this one, 2028. Until you get past that, you're going to have tumultuous times till we get through that. After that period, so 2029, this could be the time of the crisis, but that will lead us out of this period of chaos, confusion, uncertainty, anger, and all that kind of stuff that's going on. I call it the crazies. So particularly in the United States, but it's a worldwide phenomena. In the United States, because we are the leader of the world, whether we want to say that or honor that, it's true, both militarily, financially, in every which way, we're still the leader of the world. Will we be forever? Who knows? But America has to go through its own cycle, which it is. It's going through its Pluto period, and it will finish this cycle up in several years, but we need to go through it first. And so America has right now on the brink of big change. And when these cycles have met in the past, we had American Revolution, we had the Civil War, we had the Great Depression, and we had World War II. When we take a deeper look at all these issues or problems, they all have a predictable background. It's predictable that was leading up to the Civil War. It was predictable leading up to the Great Depression. It was predictable leading up to World War II. It was predictable for the American Revolution. You just have to look at the years before it occurred. And that's what we're leading to right now, is another crisis, whether it will be a health crisis, a war crisis, an economic crisis. I don't know. I don't know. At least I don't know yet which one is going to start to play out. But as we get further into the 20s, you'll start to see what could be the crisis. And right now we have this completely polarized situation in America, which there's just tremendous anger, rudeness. People are exhausted because they're sitting on their position and then they're not talking. All this crazy. It's become crazy. So my sense is that you need to know for yourself, where do you sit with all this? While all this is going on, what can you do to either help yourself, avoid something, etc.? Remember the twos, the 2000, the number 2 itself is always about duality. And it's always about patience, compromise, seeing the other person's point of view, all that kind of thing, interdependence. We don't have that right now. So we're going to be forced to learn it. We're going to be forced to compromise. We're going to be forced to see the other person's point of view. We're going to be forced to know why this is going on, because we're not learning it any other way. So the crisis is in the process now of bubbling up. What will it be the year? My feeling is it will probably be after the next election in 2028. So 28, 29 in that area is very, very vulnerable. The 30s are fine. There's a lot of breakthroughs, but we got to get through these 20s. And you've got to understand, you had coming in this lifetime, all along, you had your own blueprint. You had your own blueprint, which will tell you, what are you here for? What's your timing? Why are you following X, Y, and Z? Why aren't you be you? You be you. You be you according to what you plan, no matter what's going on in society. It's extremely important that you be you. And if you don't know who you are, call me, because I will point out to you the blueprint you created. So you always know your timing. You always know the direction you should have been going all along. You always know what your karmic corrections were. You always know your issues. Because what's happening is our issues are coming out now, front and center. They have been here all along, but you have not acknowledged them. So now you have to acknowledge them. What do you really value? What do you want? What did you say you would do? And focus on that, not what's going on in social media. Don't stoke the fire, because the fire has already been lit. How big it will burn, we'll see over the next few years, particularly from after this next election to 2028, those 4 years, extremely volatile, tumultuous years. I don't care who gets in the White House this time. I honestly don't. I know that it will be tumultuous. Obviously, it could get worse with the wrong person in there. So we have a lot of people that are really not qualified running for office. Where are we going to be if one of these people gets elected? So we have to be diligent. Look forward instead of backward. Look underneath. Stop having a superficial understanding of important matters. What is causing what? Look deeper. Look deeper when you're looking at your work. I already did a video on finding the right work for yourself. And in these times where there's a lot of what I call job-threatening situations. So you want to be aware that we have years ahead of tumultuous misery in some way. This is very negative, but we have a good 2030s coming up. So we just have to get through this. 2 areas that I want to point out to you, and that is female, which is the number 2. So the female has to rise now. She will start rising in 2024, and she will have more control over the conditions we're living under than she does now. So she will come into power. And where women will shine will be in the political arena and in the banking arena. That's where women do extremely well, is in politics and banking. And the other area, men will do well in research and business. So women have to really belly up to the bar and get into positions of power. They need to be not so afraid of doing that, and to also go into the financial worlds where they can get into the banking world and start to control some of the business that's going on with finance. So these are areas that women will shine going forward, and it will become more and more a powerful women-centered world than it is today. So we got to let that run. From 2024 to 2044 will be the big power years for women. So she's just launching next year in 2024. So do not be discouraged as a female. And once she begins to take power, which will really accelerate in the 30s, you will see much more compromise than is going on, much more genuine interdependency versus I'm over here standing on my island and you're over there on your island. Less authoritarian rule in the world. Right now we're still caught up in the 1000s. We're still caught up from 1000 to 1999. We haven't really gotten into the 1,000 years of the 2, but it's coming, and it's coming next year. So this crisis is necessary, because every time there's been a crisis in America, it has prospered after it. Okay? Take the American Revolution. We formed a country. We became the powerhouse. Take the Great Depression. We recovered from that, and we passed a lot of laws that are still there today that have benefited a great deal of what I'll call the social contract of America. And we have to get, and World War II brought tremendous power to manufacturing and placing us as the powerhouse in the world, because Japan and Germany were very weakened. So after there is a crisis, there is a real renaissance that will bloom in America, but not yet. Not yet. It's got to go through the crisis, and it's not here yet. So I wanted you to understand this. Get back to your own life. Get back to what you said you would do coming in. If you need help with that, contact me, because that's what I do. I have a lot of clients who are stuck in jobs or in unhappy conditions, and they're just very upset by the world's situation now. It will be okay, but not yet. So again, I'm sorry if I put a rain on the parade here, but it's better to know and to look at this as in a frame of reference rather than this is forever. It isn't. And I look forward to our next meeting, and I thank you for listening. Okay, bye-bye.